I am so happy. Why am I happy? Could it be because it's Friday? Well, yes. Could it be because I have only a few short hours of work left before I have the entire long weekend to myself? Definitely. But it is also because my library hold just came in for The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and I am so excited to read it. I have been waiting on hold for this book for like 6 months. I have heard so many good things about it, and I've just wanted to dive right in. I'm going to try to marathon this book. I'm going to try to read it all 20 hours. It's an audio, and I don't know if I will be able to do it, but I am very excited to try. It's not the only book I'm hoping to read this weekend because it's a long weekend and I am an overachiever, but I also have The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite waiting on my e-reader, as it has been for a while, and I really want to get around to reading that at long last. So, those are my weekend plans. Let's see if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm just working on a quick recipe for a dip that I have been requested to bring to a barbecue that I'm going to tomorrow, so I hope you don't mind if I chop and talk at the same time. I have finished work for the day, which is yay! It was my ghostwriting work this week because I am taking a slight break until I get my own stuff back from 2 editors that 2 separate projects are currently sitting with. So I'm always a little bit glad whenever I finish the quota for the week for ghostwriting and get to send it off and don't have to think about it over the weekend. It's very freeing. I can't tell you how freeing it is, really. So once I finished that, I decided to celebrate, or rather to give in to the whining of this one right here, and go sit outside for a little bit. And he actually didn't bark incessantly for once. So we got to read quite a bit of City of Brass, and okay, I had no idea what exactly this book was about when I went in. I knew that it had Middle Eastern influences, and I knew that it was a fantasy, and I knew that it was talked about basically everywhere that I could look, and that's all I knew about this book, which is not a lot to base on my reading it. But I'm so glad I picked it up. I'm not very far in, and it's already so incredible. The main character is a woman who wants to be a physician. Right now she's, I suppose you could call it a street performer. She's like a street healer sort of thing, where mostly she swindles rich men out of their money so that she can afford to live and eat in the streets of Cairo. Now, I love that setting. What I love even better is I didn't realize that this book takes place around the time of the Napoleonic War. That is my era. If you've looked at any of my books, you'll know that I write during the Regency era, which is from about 1795-ish to about 1820-ish, with a little leeway on either side. And the Napoleonic War takes place smack dab in the middle of the Regency era. Now, I know a lot of things about England during that time and a little bit about France during that time, but the only things I have really read about Egypt during that time has been in regards to Napoleon's campaign to capture Egypt, which was a lot of military stuff and not a whole lot about the lives of Egyptians during that time. So the fact that this book takes place during that time, I'm just so enthused to read on. So far, not a whole lot has happened. We've introduced the characters and her ambition to become a physician and the likelihood of a male physician taking her on as an apprentice, which is no. And there's also been a little bit of a hint as to the magic. They've talked about jinns and that sort of thing, and the main character has dismissed it outright as being possible. So I actually think that she's got some sort of magical healing power, and I think that there's definitely going to be some sort of a jinn or something like that coming later on, and it is a fantastic start to the book. I really feel connected and interested in this character and her ambitions, and I really love the setting, and I can't wait to read on and learn what else is in store in this book. So I actually feel like, although it's 20 hours long, it's not going to be as daunting as some other 20-hour-long books. It feels like a book that I will really breeze through and not want to put down throughout this entire weekend, and that's exactly what I want in my life. Especially because I was in a bit of a reading slump just before this, so I'm so excited to read on. Now, if you're curious as to what I'm making what my partner calls a corn queso dip. Basically, it uses 4 cups of corn. This is a really big pepper, so I'm only using a little bit more than half of a red pepper. I should cut this actually a little bit smaller. A whole onion, a little bit of chopped garlic, and cheddar cheese and cream cheese. And what I'm going to be doing is cooking the pepper and the onion and the garlic together until they're tender, adding in the corn, which should not be frozen, but of course I always forget to take it out first, so I'm just going to have to cook it a little bit longer. Then when it's all hot again, I'm going to stir in about half a container of cream cheese and about a cup of cheddar cheese until it's a really creamy kind of dip. Then I'm going to sprinkle some cheddar cheese on top, and just before I serve it, which is going to be tomorrow, not today, we're putting it in the oven at about 350 or 375 for about 20 minutes and then broiling until the top is nice and crispy and bubbly. And that's served with Tostitos. So that's my contribution to our potluck barbecue tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing my friends again and learning what's going on in their lives. And of course, while I'm cooking, I'm going to be listening to more City of Brass. So, the book has gotten so incredible. Oh my gosh. Basically, Nari, the main character, never knew what to call her native tongue and could always heal people and herself. Anyway, so she's gone to do this sort of ritual to rid a young girl of the spirit possessing her, and for whatever reason, she decides to do the song instead of in Arabic, in her native language, and that actually calls the person that she's calling upon to rid the body of the spirit. And of course, he's pissed to be called, and the spirit in that girl's body is super, pissed to be in this position, and everything's going down right now, and it is just so interesting. I honestly don't think I'm going to spend much of today not reading this book. So yesterday I read about a third of The City of Brass, and it's still entirely engrossing and a book that I want to continue reading, and I have to put it down for most of the day, which is going to be very torturous. So far in the story, Nari, the main character, is being taken to a city called Daevabad where there's a bunch of jinn, and the jinn leading her there, which is the same one that she ended up calling, is starting to warm to her, and I really like that dynamic. I love the enemies to lovers forced proximity thing, so the fact that there's a little bit of a subplot in there between the two of them, I'm really hoping that it gets developed further on in the story. There's a second part to this book that takes place in Daevabad with its prince, as they're exploring the morals of full-blood jinn versus partial blood jinn, and how they're treated, and it's very interesting the way that they are bringing there's a rebellion, there's a lot of elements that are coming together in this secondary story, and I'm kind of waiting for the two of them to meet, because I know at some point they will, and there's just the lingering question, will Nari want to side with the full-bloods, or will Nari want to side with the half-bloods? So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out with all of the different political entities, and with her and her tie to her Jinn Dara, who is in disgrace in this city and will probably be arrested upon returning her to it. So it's really interesting and tense. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out, and hopefully I will be able to squeeze in just a little bit of time between the errands I have to run this morning and the barbecue I'm going to this afternoon. I am looking forward to reading more of this book. We interrupt this regularly scheduled reading time for the life-changing manga of Tidying Up. I saw this at my library yesterday and I laughed so hard, so I had to pick it up. I recently read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, and that's what I'm doing today. I am going to be pulling all of these books off of these shelves. I just finished with my clothes. I am doing the whole 9 yards, all of it. I'm going to be cleaning and tidying, and hopefully by the end I will have a lot less stuff and be a lot happier. That is the hope, at least. As for The City of Brass, it's still fantastic. The KonMari method does not let you actually listen to things while you're cleaning, so I don't know how much reading time I'm going to actually have today, but I am looking forward to reading more about that book. Now that the two people have met, I am so into it, and like the political intrigue is really ramping up, and I'm really interested in seeing what happens next in this book. So hopefully I find some reading time as well as cleaning time today. Fingers crossed. The one downside to today is that I have had almost no reading time. I'm very sad about it because I really hoped to finish The City of Brass this weekend and another book, and I'm definitely not even starting the Olivia Waite book. I want to get as much of a dent through The City of Brass as I can. I still have tomorrow, so it is a possibility, but as you can see, my library is currently a mess. I spent the day tearing through all of my clothes, and I think I filled like 7 garbage bags full of clothes to donate. And then I moved on to my books, which I am on, I haven't finished putting them all in boxes, the ones that I'm giving away, but there's gonna be like 6 boxes worth of books that I'm giving away. I've got a lot more shelf space, I can tell you that. My shelves were crammed, absolutely crammed when I started, and it's really weird. I really didn't expect to want to give away this many books, but I do. Like most of the books that I am putting in these boxes and giving away are books that I picked up at like yard sales and thrift stores, and oh well, I've heard about this and I guess I want to read it. I've heard things and it looks good, and so it's only 50 cents, I'm gonna pick it up. And that just kind of snowballed from there. So, I mean, my library as it was not the largest that it has ever been. I had well over 2,000 books at one point, and I pared it down, and then I pared it down, and then I pared it down, and now apparently I'm doing some more paring down. But I feel really good about it. What I ended up doing was going through it genre by genre, taking all of the books of that genre off the shelf and putting them on the floor with the covers facing up. And that was so that I could see what I had, and then after that I went in and I rescued the ones that I wanted to keep. And I don't know, that was just a very positive way for me to choose them. Like anything left on the floor that I didn't feel strong enough to rescue is going to get donated. A part of me wants to set up a little lending library. I really want to do it because I think it would be such an amazing thing to have in the community. But would people use it? Would people just steal from it? I don't know. Now that I have actual space on my shelves, I can start going out and buying all of my favorite books from this year and filling in those spaces, because I have got a lengthy list and I definitely want to pick up physical copies of my favorite books. I just like the way they look and I like the way they make me feel. Next, for my library, the next thing that I want to do to get my library in order, I mean, after I, reorganize everything, they're not going to stay like that, is to get a big round chair so that I can sit and in this chair and read up here in the library, which would be so much fun. So I feel like it would really center me and stuff. And like one of the things that Marie Kondo's method tells you is to envision the lifestyle that you want to have. And one of the things that I envisioned was a very more of an offline kind of life, where I'm enjoying each moment more, rather than pushing through to the next moment. And I find that one of the things that really helps me distress is to read, which I do a lot of. So having a chair, I've got the perfect space for it right up near the window between two of my bookshelves, and I feel like if I just get a nice round chair to put right there, I can really enjoy reading up here instead of reading downstairs on the couch all the time. So that's the next thing that I want to do up here. But first, I think I have to reorganize all of this, finish putting all of these books away, and then I get to keep reading. Baby, why does he look so sad? Why does he look so sad? It's okay. You can't read these books. You don't have any thumbs. We read an audio, baby. It's okay. We can give away all these books. Hey, we can give away all these books. Hi, babes. Doesn't he want to be on camera? He's gonna come around. I can swish over. Say hello with your really big nose. Hi. Mwah. I don't think you have very good depth perception. There you go. Now you're in the frame. Now you're out of the frame again. The frame isn't very big this time, babes. Okay, so you're done? You're just done now? Let's talk about City of Brass, because I like this book. I like it a lot. I have about 6 hours left in the book, and there's more than 6 hours in this day, so I am planning on actually finishing it today, in between cleaning, because I still have 3 more categories according to Marie Kondo, to do, the papers, the miscellaneous, which is everything in my house, and sentimental. So I am hoping that I will be able to squeeze in some reading time in between and get as much done as possible in both respects. And City of Brass, it is really good. I like it a lot. So I mentioned in my last little update that the 2 points of view had actually come together. I knew that it was going to happen. She was going to Daevabad and he lived in Daevabad. And now that they've gotten together, oh my god, I ship it. I kind of feel like she's going to end up with Dada, the djinn who brought her there, the one that she called, because that's kind of how it was setting up. But, like, he's keeping a lot of secrets from her. She has no idea about his motives or his past. And I sense there's something there. Whereas the prince, Ali, well, at first he didn't treat her very well because, I don't know, he's a dick. But, he's really warmed up to her. Like, he's teaching her how to read, and she asked to read economics, which is a topic that he is very passionate about, and I just ship it. They read so cute and fluffy together. But I don't know. I have hopes. They are the 2 point of view characters. So in a romance, you'd already know that those are the two people who are gonna get together. But this is not a romance, this is a fantasy. So I don't know, we'll see. It's really, I like it a lot. It's raising a lot of questions about Dada's past and about his motives, and there's still elements that need to be tied up. There's like an Ifrit rebellion and a lot of other political things that need to be tied up. What I love best about where the book is at right now is Nari is currently healing people with her powers, but in a djinn city, she doesn't need to heal like coughs, because people can just get medicine for that. They don't need her for that. They need her for weird stuff. They need her for, like, salamanders that are running around inside their body, and there was the one that she was treating in the last scene that I read, accidentally, like, I don't know, read something wrong and is turning into a bird. So I love that the things that she has to treat are so weird, because it really brings that fish out of water element. Like, she doesn't know this culture because she's always lived in Egypt, in Cairo. And so she doesn't know their culture, and she, like, all of this magic stuff is like, I don't understand this at all. Like, this is not the science I was taught. So I feel like the fact that she's feeling a little overwhelmed makes me as the reader kind of feel the same way, but in a good way. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out and where it goes. So yeah, let the day begin. I finished the City of Brass. Yay! And I have a couple hours to spare, but trust me, I'm not going to start another book at this late date. I am exhausted from cleaning my house for the past 2 days. For those keeping track, I have not yet finished all of the categories according to Marie Kondo. I have still a lot more miscellaneous to go through, and the sentimental items too. So that'll be a week-long project in between work, but I'm very happy and proud of the work that I've gotten done so far. Now, for the much more exciting part, City of Brass. I finished it. It was really good. The end had a twist that I did not expect at all. I still ship Ali and Nari. I'm sorry, I do. They would be perfect for each other. And I guess we'll see what happens in the next book. I'm definitely going to pick it up in audio. I liked the narrator a lot, so I'm going to continue in that format for the next book. And overall, I definitely recommend this book. It was really good. So I guess that's the end of my weekend reading vlog. Tell me what you read this weekend. I'd love to know. Until next time, happy reading.